This video is sponsored by War Thunder.
Yeah, the other thing I wanted to talk about, I feel like it's all about beefs between women at the moment, but like it just seems to be what's happening this week. It seems like Ruby Rose is really mad at Sydney Sweeney. So Ruby Rose is best known to you guys as the star of Batwoman, that hugely successful show on the CW.
We miss you, Batwoman.
We did.
Yeah, come on, you can come back. You know, I think she pretty much got crippled as a result of that show because
she had some serious surgery because of back injury. It's fucking nuts to get injured on a show like that.
I mean, she only weighs about 50 pounds and she's mostly composed of skin and bone, so I'm not surprised she got injured on it. But anyway, that's by the by. She was talking here about like the failure of Sydney Sweeney's latest movie, Christy, where she plays like a boxer, saying that she called her a cretin. She said the original Christy Martin script was incredible. It was life-changing. That's fucking calm down, girl. I was attached to play Cherry, she wrote. Everyone had experience with the core material. Most of us were actually gay because, you know, actors can't act.
You can't, you have to be gay.
You have to actually be the thing you're playing. Did you know that Michael Biehn was actually a colonial marine in Aliens?
He came from the future as well in Terminator.
Arnold Schwarzenegger actually became a Terminator. So she said, it's part of why I stayed in acting. Losing roles happens all the time, especially when you're a shit actor. But yeah, for her PR people to talk about it flopping and saying that Sydney Sweeney did it for the people, none of the people want to see someone who hates them parading around pretending to be us. What? You're a cretin and you ruined the film, period. Christy deserved better.
It should be stated again, because Drinker kind of mentioned it, but Ruby Rose is just awful as an actress. She's one of the worst. The only reason we don't talk about that more is because she's not in anything anymore. She's just awful, like hilariously awful. She makes Batwoman really funny. I'm just trying to emphasize, like, at her best, she's Gal Gadot, basically.
She was at her best in John Wick, where she didn't get to speak because she was mute.
Yep.
That was perfect for her. Her one saving grace was like she's got quite a striking look about her. You know, she's got like very angular sort of face and she's got all the tattoos and stuff. So she kind of looks interesting at least. She just can't actually do anything. But yeah, this idea that like, oh yeah, this movie would have been a massive hit if it had someone else in it. No, I don't think this was ever going to be like some box office smash hit. It was Oscar bait. That's what it is. Like that's why it was released at this time of year. It's an Oscar candidate. It was Sydney Sweeney trying to prove that she can do serious, like more challenging acting roles that aren't about being a sex symbol or whatever. And that's fair enough. Like I don't think anyone expected it to do big numbers at the box office. So
it is a little weird that they decided to release it to 2,000 theaters. That was a little strange. You would have thought that there would be a more limited release with something like this. And I think that's kind of
I'm sure
where
they would have
been
been
stemming from.
I think it was a combination of like very little competition. So they probably thought, well, if we can get it into more theaters, why not? Because I'm sure they would have been perfectly happy if it turned out to be this big hit, maybe coasting on Sydney Sweeney's popularity at the time. But I don't think they necessarily expected it. And I don't think Sydney Sweeney did.
Now it's time for a little ad break, but if you're not into that sort of thing, then skip to this time code now. War. It's fantastic. Well, at least in video games anyway. Which is why I recommend War Thunder instead. Basically the most detailed and expansive vehicle combat game ever made. And it's available now for free on PC, consoles and mobile devices. Choose from over 2,500 tanks, planes, choppers and warships from 10 major nations covering the past 100 years of warfare. Ever wanted to take a squadron of T-34s into battle against an M1 Abrams and just see what happens? Well, wonder no longer, because War Thunder has you covered, with detailed vehicle models, realistic graphics and authentic sound effects that put you right in the middle of the action. So what are you waiting for, you absolute lunatic? Join more than 70 million other players from around the world that are already using War Thunder and give them all a damn good thrashing. You can even customize your vehicle with your favorite camouflage pattern, historical markings, or even community created ones, so you can go to war in the most stylish way possible. Play War Thunder for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or mobile devices now using the links in the description. New and returning players on PC and consoles that haven't played in the last 6 months also get a shiny bonus pack with multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator Eagle of Valor, 100,000 silver lions, and 7 days of premium account access. It's only available for a limited time though, so use it or lose it. I'll see you on the battlefields.
Biopics generally don't make money because they automatically limit their audience to fans of whatever that's doing. You know, it's you might get a little crossover here and there, but for the most part, people are going to see something that's a biography about a person, are fans of that person, and this is not a very well-known woman in the general audience. I mean, it was never going to do that great.
It's the Smashing Machine, but like with women's boxing. That's like
but nobody's saying the Smashing Machine failed because The Rock is a Nazi already. You know what I mean? It's like the reasonable take on this is that the film was probably never going to be that successful. It just isn't with all the components in play. But no, everyone wants to like spin a crazy story of she's tanking and destroying her own career. It's like, what are you talking? It's just a movie where nobody went to release it. Like, I'm sorry, I don't really want to see it. I'm not particularly interested myself. I hope it's good, you know.
Sure, I mean, there's not a huge amount. Like, I spoke to Chris Gore about this. He said it's pretty good. Like, she gives a good performance in it, and it's fine. But like you say, it's not exactly a headline-grabbing movie, and it's probably not what people would go to a Sydney Sweeney film for. So
15 million budget's not going to help it. Like 5 million budget, maybe, and art house film. That's all it is, and that's all these used to be. What also doesn't help is like there's no other films to draw other viewers in, you know, to theaters. There's no action going on in theaters right now, and that's been, you know, it's been an entropy for a long time, especially this year. But like a movie like that is almost these kind of movies will be dead for theaters very soon.
I think it's always interesting as well when you see this like generational crossover, because I kind of see like Ruby Rose as being like I don't know, it'd be like Jennifer Lawrence getting mad at like Sydney Sweeney. Like they're basically the same person, but just from like 10 years separation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there is a degree of crossover there because that was the one thing that Ruby Rose was willing to do early in her career. She just like showed up naked and several things and was like, here I am. And she was kind of a champion of that early non-binary, you know, movement. And I think that that's one of the things that pisses her off about Sydney Sweeney is unabashedly feminine. And you know, I take out all this stuff about the eugenics bullshit, all that. Like, that was stupid. Even if that didn't exist, she would hate her for not being alternative. You know,
probably, yeah.
It's a good point, but it's also sorry. It's also because you know, Sydney Sweeney is beautiful, based, and white, and these three things are not accepted by certain types.
Yeah.
So personally, I don't know. That's why whenever I see something like that, I sound complaining about Sydney Sweeney. For me, it's an automatic red flag. And then I'm happy to be like, no, cleared. This one was okay. But it's automatic red flag at this point.
I think, I agree. And I think Dark Hour is really onto something there where it's like, you're hot, but you're too conventionally hot.
Yeah.
You know, you're just like a straight woman. What, like, you're not like some fucking gender non-conforming blob of humanity, like covered in piercings and tattoos and stuff. So you're not allowed to be popular. I want to be as popular as you are, but I'm not as hot as you, and so I hate you now. That's kind of what it feels like, and it's just I can't shake the feeling that this is like the Grace Randolph thing all over again. It's just like this weird rivalry that they've got going on between each other, whereas you can't just like acknowledge, hey, this person's really attractive and popular, and they're more popular than I am, and that's just the way the world works. Unfortunately,
it's like you'd said. I wish women would support each other, but I guess, you know, it's up to us.
On what planet?
Because, you know, anyone who watches my channel knows I'm a big time feminist, and I want women to uplift each other.
Women on women is always the best. No, but it is weird because no matter what they'll even turn it around with Sydney Sweeney, because like she unwillingly became this symbol of the right. Like, I don't think that wasn't anything she was trying to do. And now they're like, oh, well, see, nobody from the right is supporting her. And it's like,
She's the female Chris Pratt right now. That's
actually a great way to put it. The female Chris
implementing perceived bias on an actor who's just said nothing and done nothing to deserve it.
It's literally just made a pun about jeans, and then all of a sudden now she's been. And no matter what was going to happen, unless it's a very mainstream, women's sports don't make money as women's sports. They're not going to make money as a movie.
No.
Beach volleyball would make money, I think.
Okay. Well,
maybe.
I mean,
if it's
honestly,
super mainstream.
There's a lot of movies that star women that are short, independent drama.
I see where you're going with this.
Yeah,
drama.
So, they're drama.
I'm all about the story with stuff like that, Gary. So
I like the ones about the delivery man and the plumber.
Is it the pizza guy?
There's so much character. There's great arcs involved.
And we're going to lose all that I was on a walk in Dallas yesterday, and I went by the DoorDash Uber or the DoorDash drone, and they had this fleet of giant drones for DoorDash now.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah. So no more people for DoorDash.
I'll still be underpaid.
So how do you make a porn out of that? Well, you make it a robot.
I mean, it's a question of how creative do you want to be.
There's a guy there who's like, challenge accepted. I can make a porn out of anything.
There's probably a women's fiction book about this sort of thing. Like there's everything.
There is.
The drone
are more about my feelings than real men.
The one read by the kind of women who complain about men going to porn, and then they read those books all day.
The Minotaur.
It was the one that was referenced a couple of weeks ago. It was fucking Morning Glory at the milking farm.
The Minotaur.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Good God, there's something wrong with women. they need help,
dude. Yeah, what is the biggest thing on Netflix? It's true crime and murders. And what are those all about? Is some woman being brutally murdered, or and they all want to watch it.
I can fix him.
I was listening to someone's, I forget which show, but it was like, how is Netflix? I think it might have been Red Letter Media. Like, how is Netflix still standing after burning so much money on so many products? And it's like, it's the serial killer stuff, man. They're making shit tons of money on serial killers.
It's cheap and it gets watched a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's an element of human nature to the whole true crime thing, because people are just morbid curiosity. How does all that stuff come out? But
for me, it's also learning what went wrong, as a preservation thing. That's why you watch a car wreck. I think it's also that trying to understand, okay, what went wrong? Why this serial killer managed to enter the house?
Yeah.
What did they forget?
How does society
so that way
fail,
you know what not to do to get caught.
Exactly.
You don't want to get caught.
You get ones that they exploit say corruption in the justice system, like that Making a Murderer, which is fascinating, to see how people can get framed for things or whatever. So that sort of thing, I kind of get the interest behind it, but there's, as Mauler was pointing out there's a kind of this weird kink component to it where it's I don't know, man. It's taken the whole I like bad boys thing to its most
to an extreme. I like bad minotaurs.
To Gary's point, then
it's might take my skin and turn it into a suit, but I'm down for that.
That's a relevant aspect, but I guess what we're kind of getting to is that there's an interest for basically everybody. It may be different reasons, but almost everyone's I'll check that out. I watched the documentary on Netflix for the submersible, that whole thing that happened.
Oh,
it was kind of fascinating.
The Titan sub.
Going over just how much it's the worst story ever. He ignores every single piece of advice. He ignores all the data, and then he just kills himself. It's the most, how the fuck? And it's he's delusional. That's the whole story. He's just absolutely delusional.
And
so learning about it, and just the serial killer stuff. It's you get how did they manage to operate so successfully? What things were happening at the time? The blah blah blah. And then it's how can I spot a serial killer in real life? Is a amusing part of it. But then you have weird people who are maybe into it for different reasons. And if you get a wide enough net, and as Gary said, it is not expensive to make these things. It is people in rooms and with knives and blood effects, and then you're done.
Yeah,
get a good actor like Charlie Hunnam, and then you've got the whole thing.
Cheers to War Thunder for sponsoring this video. If you're interested, you can play it for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox or mobile using the links in the description and pinned comment. New and returning players on PC and consoles that haven't played in 6 months also get a big meaty bonus pack with premium vehicles and other goodies. It's available for a limited time only though, so use it while you can.